Good afternoon, Chiefs. Happy Friday to you, and welcome to another exciting live Chief Chat. Good to have everybody with us. Let's see who's in the house. Be sure to pop in the chats over here and say hello. That way, if you want to come on screen, if you've got a live mic and a camera's actually optional, just need a mic, then happy to have you come on and say hello, and we can have a little chat. You can ask me or others in the group anything you want to know about. This is all about us just getting to get to the heart of things in real time together here. So good to see everybody. Hey, Chris, John Belkowitz, what's up, my brother? Bruce Chenoweth, Bruce, you made it, man. Bruce is away today, traveling, and was able to make it. So good to see you, Max. Hey, Max, how are you, man? Max, loved your bullets, man. So good, so good. All the bullets are always so good. Really appreciate all the contributions there. I will announce the winner today on the Chief Chat. We're also going to look into the emails a little bit. The email challenge has been fantastic. Really delighted by the engagement over there. Everybody's diving in and having at it and sticking to it. So we're 1 week in, and really want to get some of you on to talk about how it's what the experience has been like for you, especially if you weren't mailing at all. I know a lot of you kind of came out and said, hey, I've been looking for an excuse to mail my list or just to practice writing emails every day. And like I said, even if you don't have a list yet, then consider us your list for this challenge. And just, it helps to write when you know someone's listening, right? So I think it's awesome that everybody's doing so cool with that. What's up, Ross? Mr. O'Loughlin is in the house. Dean, what's up? Oh, Dean made it. Okay. Dean didn't know that he would make it today. Good to see you, Dean. We'd feel a little naked without you here. Okay, good, man. So who do we got? Marston's in the house. What's up? Colin, yep. Daily emails are going great. Mr. Campbell. Is this Chris Hardy? What's up, Chris Hardy? How are you? And Melanie. Hey, Melanie, how are you? Man, everybody's in. David Watson, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Where are you joining us from today, David? Tanya's in here. How are you? And Vonnie, what's up, Vonnie? Good to see everybody. Cesare, what's up, Cesare? All right, cool. Yeah, Max is digging it. It really, yeah, that's the other thing. It's great, right? Is to just get feedback in real time from the other Chiefs, man. It's been super cool on all of our emails. It's interesting. It's a little easier for me probably than for some, because I've been in the habit of emailing almost daily for a while now. But Jody contributes some emails to us. Like, for instance, Jody Rainsford is in charge of the blog. So if you contribute to the blog, you know that Jody is the master at giving you that final little whack of the rag and polishing up your piece, and he helps get it live on the site, and then he writes the email for that, and he also writes what I call the best of thread emails. If you see those emails where we're basically breaking down what happened in one of the threads, and then it's an invitation to join Copy Chief, and then there's a link to the actual thread if you're already a member and you want to go check out that thread if you haven't seen it, or revisit it. So that's a cool. So I was, could have cheated a couple of times, but I really wanted to stick to the contest. So I forewent Jody's Tuesday email and wrote my own. And I did use his on Wednesday because I wanted to promote Scott's piece. So the others, so I'm 5 in now and loving it, man. I just dig the exercise. I'm in love with writing again, more than I've been in years, mostly because I made the commitment to stop taking client work and just focus on us here in Copy Chief and tightening up the marketing funnels and all this stuff. So it's just been great to have the extra headspace and do creative stuff and just follow whims sometimes, right? It's one of the hardest things as a freelancer is to still give yourself that space, man. I mean, I'm sure you guys are like me. You could sit down and open up your laptop and go for 8 hours straight, basically just reacting to stuff and trying to keep up with what's happening in the market and all these things. And it's really hard to pull yourself away and get something done, or just give yourself the white space mentally to play around in there and feel creative. So yesterday, that's why I fell in love so quickly with Snapchat, because I literally saw an email from Dan Norris talking about the 5 biggest things happening in social right now. Number 2 for him was Snapchat. And I was like, what is this Snapchat like everybody's talking about? So I just went there, I downloaded the app. I mean, that pure of an experience, and saw what it was about, saw how you could create a story. And that means that every snap you record, you can add to the story. And I thought, oh, this is cool. What if I just make a video in these 5 to 10 second increments, and I use the script, and I'll just, because I wanted to go on Facebook and pitch the Carlton Mastermind, because there's only a couple spots, right? And so, and that's what I did. I just pulled up the email that you guys might have seen a few days ago about it. And I just said, okay, what parts are relevant, what parts aren't, and ended up being like an 8-minute Snapchat. And I think it's too long, but what I learned about it made me really fall in love with the format. It stuck with me all day. I kept thinking about it. And man, it's such a cool way to teach. And so here's my new big revelation today that got me so excited, was I started thinking about 60-second sales hooks in relation, Snapchat format, right? Because I've said quite often, the thing about the 60-second sales hook is, like, don't fool yourself into thinking that we actually have a full minute of our prospect's attention, because you don't. And I said, you have to kind of win like the first 5 seconds, and then you might win a second 5 seconds, and then that might win you 10 seconds and, through a minute. But if at any point you run off the rails or get boring or it becomes irrelevant, jump the shark, then you're gone. And so that's what my big takeaway for Snapchat was yesterday, that, wow, this really forces you to think about everything you're saying in 10 seconds or less, so that it's like poetry, right? You have to get out a clean line, beginning to end, cut yourself off, and then say the next line. So I don't think Snapchat is it's not like a great delivery method. Like, I've been snapping back and forth with some people now, and they'll be kind of, talking to me, and then it'll cut off, and then they'll just pick up. And to me, that's unclean. I'd rather just have the full 3-4 minute video or whatever. I think, like, for us to force ourselves to think in 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 second increments is either going to make us like weirdo zombies who walk around talking in short stanzas all the time, or it's going to really help us tie off our thoughts. I think there's probably a good balance there, especially if you're doing a bunch of podcast interviews, which I highly recommend for freelancers, any product owner, any business owner. You got to be getting on these podcasts just to get used to talking about your stuff. You'll be amazed at how good you get at it. And when you get on with a good host, you'll say stuff that you never even, it's almost like you're hearing it for the first time yourself. And you can instantly repurpose that content for articles or other podcasts of your own or whatever. So I think the most valuable thing you can do for your business is, of course, always be teaching, always be creating content, but get on podcast and be a good podcast guest. Huge for your business, huge for how you frame your thoughts. And I think a thing like Snapchat is so exciting to me because it forces you to think short, get to the point, get out of the point. Yeah, you can stack several of them up on top of each other, but you're basically talking in sound bite format, even if it's a longer conversation. And I think that's just super powerful in this day and age when you want everything to be, quotable. Like you want to be able to get a pull quote out of as much as you say as possible. So yes. Okay. Snapchat, a video version of Twitter. Yeah. That's basically it, Wendy. That is a really good long line for it, Max. Okay. So speaking of Wendy, I'm just gonna quickly call attention to this because if I focus too much on it, I'm literally gonna start crying. But I received this in the mail from Wendy a couple of days ago, and I have to tell you, it's my birthday this month, and that's why Wendy thought to put this together. And it is one of the greatest gifts I've ever received and that I could ever imagine receiving. It's just, it's love notes from you guys. And I just can't tell you what it means to me to look through these and read your notes. And, she did a beautiful job of, look at that. Look at this loving care she took to color these and make them pretty. And look at Dean, his portrait here. Man, it's just, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to make this all about me. And, but it's incredibly touching to have this, and it means the world to me. And, I just, it's an amazing privilege to be able to get to do this with you, for you, together, to watch this all grow. And now why would I get a phone call right now? No caller ID, no chance. But so just thank you from the bottom of my heart, not only to everybody who contributed to this, especially to Wendy for taking just the time and the loving care with this. It just means the world to me. And to all of you, every one of you who, even if you weren't represented in this little book, just the exchange we have, the fact that you're part of the community, the conversations we do have publicly and privately, it just means the world to me. And I really appreciate it. So why is Ross always, oh, something's wrong. Hang on a second. This is Ross. So hey, buddy. Yeah, I'm here. Oh, really? No, people are, people are responding to what I'm saying. Aren't you? Okay. Are you seeing the chat? Is that funny? You guys can hear me, right? Thank you, Woody. I love you too. I love you so much. It's funny that Ross called. That is like Inception. You guys can see and hear me, right? I'm like, the only reason I picked it up is because I'm like, if Ross is calling, it probably means I'm somehow talking to nobody, but yet you guys are responding to what I'm saying. So that was anyway, cool. All right. So yeah, enough of that. But I just, my heartfelt thanks to all of you. God, I am going to share, I think, a few of these just because they're so funny. God, you guys are so funny. That was the other thing, is like flipping through here and seeing you guys represented. Belkowitz, just a piss, such a ball buster. Every one of you guys just come to life on these. Angie, you killed me. So appreciate you guys. Thank you. All right, let's talk about email, right? So let's get some people on and let's chat about how we're digging this email challenge. As you saw, we are not hiding from Mr. Settle at all during this. Ben's been watching us, and I guess he couldn't resist popping in the other day to let some of us know that we're totally overthinking how this works. And I thought that was great because he's not much of a chit chat forum guy. So it made me laugh that he, I think, couldn't resist. Some people were driving him crazy with asking like the minutia details of how this is supposed to work. How it works is you write a damn email every day. And if you have a list, you send it out. And if you don't have a list, you just post it up here and we're your list. It's pretty simple. So this isn't how any of this works. John. Yeah, Max, go in. I think it's in the how to play a thread or something. Yeah, so I'm gonna jump over to that thread and let's have a look around the emails. And yeah, let me get over there. Well, let me get over there first before I cut over. How about that? And then we're gonna bullet the podcast. Oh, guys, whew. Every week, every time I say it, and every time it's true, you guys just make it so hard to choose a winner. So many good entries. Okay, email challenge. 30-day email challenge. Look at Barry, killing it. I love it, man. You guys are awesome. All right, let's hop over there and look at the thread. Come on, hang out. Whatever you're doing here. Here we go. Groovy. You guys see my screen now? Sweet. Okay. So yeah, let's see. Share your experience. Let's see where Dan. Yeah. So let's get Ross on, and yeah, Ross is. Oh, I'm gonna share some of my stats too. Ross has been sharing some of his click-through rates and his open rates. Been pretty interesting. So let's get some folks on here. I don't know if Max wants to come on. I'm gonna invite you, Max. It's up to you, buddy. Love to have you. There's my man Ross will get on. Hey, Russell, what's up? Russell, if you want to come on. Oh, Russell, I think you're doing the challenge too, aren't you? I talked to your sister, well, by email, by the way. Gosh, she's lovely, and I'm excited to interview her for the podcast. Thanks so much for hooking that up. Howdy ho.
Howdy ho.
Let's see if I don't hear you, Ross. I don't know if that's
better?
My fault or yours.
Can you hear me now?
Max, what's up?
Can you hear me now?
All right, I don't hear Max either, so it could be me.
Can anyone hear me?
That man. What's up, Max? I don't hear you, so let me check my settings. Hey, Max, what's up? Good to see you, man. All right, let me check my settings real quick. What do I got there? Aha, that's my problem. Here we go. I should hear you now. Can I hear you now?
Is that better?
Yes, that's me. Boom. Hey, Max, can I hear you? No, I can't hear you. Check your...
Yeah, Max, I just checked my settings there, and I refreshed the browser window. That seems to fix it for me.
Yeah, if you hover on your Hangout screen, you should see a gear icon at the top. That'll help you.
Yeah, I think someone said there's a bit of echo there, me coming probably through on your line, Kev.
Okay, then let me grab headphones 1 second. Ross, you kind of did this, man. This challenge, I think. Well, you and Patty.
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't want to claim credit as much as it was just complete convenient timing. If anyone, it's Wardy that
That's true. Yeah.
was the spark of it, because she shared her results, and I think I was chatting with you, and one of my goals for the start of this year was to start mailing my list regularly. And I can remember having a conversation with you. I don't know how, or if Ben Settle came up, but I was just like, I think I'm just going to, subscribe to his newsletters, so I, put some money behind it and just go for it.
Yeah.
And then Wardy's result, it was a case study, was on top of the package.
Yeah.
And I had gotten to the point where he, in his book, in the product that you get when you subscribe, he talks about the 30-day challenge. And I literally just read that when Gemma put up the idea to do the 30-day challenge, and I was like, absolutely, let's do it, right?
Yeah, so glad we did. And I don't know if Patty's here today.
Patty, sorry, I'm sorry, I don't know what I said, Gemma.
That's all right, but yeah, and Tanya's in it, and I think Ross's echo is better now, right? So Max, let's see if we can hear you. No, still can't hear you, buddy. I know, right? It's so annoying, this technology. Did you check your computer settings? I don't know if you're on a Mac, but check your audio settings there too. Can you do you know sign language? You can do a lot of this. Who else wants to come on? Who else has something to share about their emails? Where's our man Dean and our man John? Wardy, you are the inspiration for this. I will not force you to come on if you don't feel like it today. That does look like a vintage Peak hairdryer behind Ross.
It is.
That is?
It is. I'm on my standing desk today, right? I got that RE stand, so I'm on it today. So now you can see all the clutter on top of the wardrobe there. But those are two vintage hair dryers. There's actually a second blue one behind it that the missus picked up at a garage sale.
Very cool. Do they work?
Yeah, they do. But as she says, like, how the hell anyone used those back in the day is crazy. Like, it would melt your head. It is so hot, the heat coming out of it.
That's so funny. I used a pink hair dryer in the Snapchat video. My daughter's Hello Kitty hair dryer. All right, Dean. Let's get Dean on. Okay, got you. Yay, Melanie. Of course, I'll pick you. Okay, Wardy, thank you. Yeah, I know you have to go. You have another obligation during this hour, so but I am going to pin you down on one of these. Maybe let's plan when Ben's going to come on with us at the end of the month, and I'd love to if you can frame that one out. And also, I'm going to acknowledge and respect that Bruce kindly pointed out that it might be better for everybody if we held these at noon instead of 1. I'm just going to let you guys weigh in on that in the chat here if you want. Take an informal poll. I'm fine to do them at noon. So I know that probably would help our friends in the UK, like Wendy. I know it's 6:30 for you now. They're almost there. So happy to move it to noon if everybody feels like that would be better, noon Eastern. Yeah, Chris, be better for you too. Yeah. Okay, let's do noon. Oh yeah, noon. All right, we're going to noon. It's official. See how that's the thing to work here in the Coffee Chief. What's up, Melanie? How are you, girl? Can I hear you? Hey.
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you. I'm so proud of you. You know what else I have in my? I have the happiest bag I've ever had right now because there's so many great things in this bag. One of my favorites is right here. This is the long-awaited free report from Melanie Saladino that is soon to become a exclusive Copy Chief training. It is the 9 hidden questions, and I've been talking about this for months. Melanie's been working on it for months. She's a perfectionist, and that is perfectly fine because it really pays off in the quality. I am privileged to be one of the first people to ever awesome cover graphics by Cassie Klauser to have read this report, and it is killer. So I'm super thrilled for Melanie because of what this is going to do for her career, stepping out beyond just a freelance copywriter and becoming really like a teacher and I think a force in the industry with this, and feel privileged that we get to kind of beta train it here in Copy Chief. You guys are going to go nuts for this training. I'm not exaggerating when I say what is in this document gives you a serious unfair advantage over anybody who has not read it, as a freelancer, as a business owner, as anything. Right? So really excited about that. So that is in my bag, and I'm going to share with you guys something else. You know, obviously, it's a big part of my life and my business, my branding, that I did stand-up comedy for a decade, right? Interestingly, no one has ever seen me do stand-up comedy because the only way it existed was on VHS tapes, and I finally found a guy 2 minutes away for the enormous fee of $15 to put one of those VHS tapes onto DVD. And so I've yet to watch it. I don't know what that experience is going to be like, but I'm vowing right now that I will share at least some of it with you. You'll get the first look. I remember being okay at it, so I think I'll be able to find a clip or two to feel good about, but that's pending as well. So, Mr. Dean Edelson, what's happening, my brother?
How are you?
Good,
I
man.
remember that, transferring VHS tape sets to DVD.
Isn't that funny, dude? I mean, I have
Yeah.
boxes of VHS tapes, and
Oh, yeah.
they've been in attics and in all these places, and
Hello,
I'm thinking, hey, there we go. We got
Yes, thank you.
boom.
All right.
What's up? Sweet. All right, where do you have to go? Look, we're a half hour in, and okay. Oh, April, what's up? April's here. All right, and then let me get John. I gotta find you, John. Let's see, Mr. Belkowicz. Oh, what's up, Mark Sadal? I'm gonna invite Mark too, in case you want to come. This is gonna be a Russell. What happened to you, Russell? You were here and we lost you.
Oh, this is huge. Everyone's here.
Everyone's here. It's a party.
Hey, everyone.
Get me to shut up. We can all get somewhere here. So Max, man, it's so good. I think it's the first time we've actually spoken like this. We've spoken in Skype a couple times.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, so that's why it's a thrill to be here. And probably all the things that we're about to get to on the email thing, I usually just stay out of it because you guys are brilliant, and I just feel like a punk, especially now that you see my writing style. It's not that traditional play.
No,
like
that's
it,
what's great.
That's what's great about it.
Oh, no, that's
Max.
what I'm realizing. So thank you for all the thanks and the feedback.
Love it, man.
I just thought I was well.
Called original, man.
Cool. Thank you.
John, what's up, brother?
What's up?
See you. And hey, April, what's up?
Hey.
Good to see you. April's got her second article going up on the blog. Is it next week? This
Yeah.
week coming up? This Wednesday. Very cool. Awesome. And we've got, there's the original #1 badass women of marketing right there in the podcast series. And I don't know if you guys heard Rhonda Britton's episode this week, but wow, mind-blowing. And Marie Forleo coming up on Monday, so pretty cool. And then closing out with Mrs. Saladino, as it were. So what a group, what a privilege. Dean, all right, so we said hi to everybody. Now we get 2 Rosses now. Maybe that's why there's an echo. Holy smokes. Ross is out to blow our minds, like some test of alternate reality here.
The doppelganger.
It's really Inception. It's all Inception today.
It totally is. Should I dump Frozen Ross, or does it matter?
We're about to find out.
No, because now I don't hear the real Ross.
Yeah.
We got no audio on you now, Ross. Oh my god. All right, I'm ejecting Frozen Ross. You're out of here, pal. Quit staring me down, you freak. And now the other Ross is frozen. All right, we'll get to that. Let's talk email. Who else? Is anybody raising a hand that I have not invited? Max, April, got you. Okay, cool. So let's start with Max, because you said, what's your experience with email up to now, as far as how often you've been doing it, all that stuff?
Ooh, okay, so you put me on to Ben Settle with that podcast interview. At least I think it was you.
Mm-hmm.
And I joined his community, and it was the first time that someone spoke about business and email, which I'm obsessed about, in a way that gave me permission to say, oh, wait, I can do this, and people actually pay me for it, and I can be myself with it. So before, I thought I had to write like Kevin. I had to write like Ramit and all these other people. But, yeah. So I've been emailing it, looking at the numbers, if I can pull them up in just a second. I've written, I started his whole 30, email every day program. So as of today, I've written 100 emails in the past 68 days for my list. And I've only 8 days, and those were days that I was writing and my audience got a message, but I wrote 2 or 3, so like they never missed a beat, but I missed a beat because I took a day off, and because I usually batch it. But yeah, that's been my experience, and it's you can probably hear it in my voice. It's just tremendous what I've learned from it, how it's improved my life, and yeah, it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what kind of, have you been getting feedback, personal replies to the emails?
Yeah, those are my favorites. They're
Yeah.
not always constructive. Not to say that I've never gotten a negative, like, oh, you're ridiculous, or like those typical YouTube comments where it's like, oh, you're a faggot or whatever. But it's I used to get those on YouTube, but I don't
Really?
email.
Yeah.
In fact, actually on Twitter I get those. But
They're always insightful. That's helpful, really.
yeah, exactly. So no, the feedback that I get is more ego stroking. So a lot of people call me genius or what have you, and I'm like, oh, that's great. But what about it was genius? So that way I can like duplicate it tomorrow. Um, but more than anything, it's the people that are like, I took what you wrote, I implemented it, and it worked.
man.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like that's the only thing that matters to me because there are two types of people that I care about: the what I call the action takers and the people, my partners who actually hire me. And what I want to know is, am I full of shit or does this actually help you?
Right.
And I'm slightly different from Ben, but a lot of my ideas are in line with his. So I know that in some cases it does work. In other cases, I'm really stepping out on a limb.
Yeah, good. I can see you're using, you're using the dialogue to fuel more dialogue, which is great. Classic Ben Settle there as well. Just really smart stuff. Good for you, bro. And so, yeah, see, everybody's, even in here, people are responding to that. I think that's a real big thing. It's not like, hey, that was a good email, or it's like they're responding to the content, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's what we're looking for, and that's what. I see that are you playing with different lengths, or are you pretty much are you someone who has to like stop yourself from writing War and Peace every time, or is it is it easier?
So naturally I do write, like I can write 1,000 words in 25 minutes. So that's nothing for me. So it's one of those things where I'm learning, especially from Ben, how can I do this in maybe 100 words or fewer? And like on Saturday, so tomorrow you'll get an email where I show you, what I do is I take a piece of media content and I say, what are the different ways we can take this like 3-minute video or this 100-word blurb. Like this week I talked about necrophilia and a dog named Grizzler, and those were just news articles, and I tied it into my expertise and how you could learn a lesson from it. And I'm like, how can you as an expert deconstruct a story and talk about it from your point of view? And that's when I can get shorter, but naturally I just want to write something long. And yeah, it's just about learning how to get pithier.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Let's hear from Mr. Belkowitz, who I know does a ton of writing every day to meet his like client obligations. And now, so who are you writing to here with yours, John?
That's a good question. I'm kind of just figuring that out. So, like you said, I do a lot of writing and managing of other people's daily lists, a lot of affiliate stuff. So in the course of doing that, I haven't been writing for myself.
Right.
So one thing about this is giving me the opportunity to actually write as me, and not write as like 5 other different people in the same.
Right.
So I don't have a list that I'm writing to at the moment. Right now, what I have in the Copy Chief forums is it. I'll have to sort of build a list, but I'm just kind of having fun with it. And I'm trying to make sure that each piece of content that I'm writing for this, I'm selling something in each email. None of the products actually exist. They're all made up, but they're not necessarily fake because they're in my head. But so I'm just having fun with it. I mean, that's really my main thing.
That's great, bro.
It's an outlet just to kind of free my mind.
Yeah, that's
from being schizophrenic.
I'm gonna go ahead and mute you, Max, because I think we're getting an echo there. Cool, brother. Yeah, I'm loving these. I love your subject lines, man. These are great. I haven't had a chance to go through yours yet, but so I mean, does that kind of do you have any list at all? Like, have you been list building? You never really been putting out stuff for yourself, huh?
Yeah. So I mean, I started with my own list when I was doing my fitness business, like my own thing, years ago.
Right.
When I started doing the copywriting stuff, I moved away from that and just did work for other people, and have never gotten around, as sad as it is, to setting up my own list for copywriting and marketing consulting services. So
it happens, man.
This will be an impetus for that. But
yeah, good. The Korean Charles Bronson inside my head. That's great, dude. This is great. I love it. Good, man. I love it. I love that this is what's happening with it. Dino, what about you, brother? Have you been writing to your list all along, feeling like there's a conversation happening there, or is this?
I'm in the same boat as John. I never
Okay.
really went out to build a list, so I'm treating this as if I had a list. And as I write or I think of ideas that come in, then I'll think, oh, I could build a product around that or a lead magnet around that. So I like tying where I start with, then go off to grandma's house, but then tie it in at the end to make the association. So I'm finding this a really fun exercise. What I love about it is going through this more than anything else. And I'm reading other people's emails and these whole threads of the challenge. I mean, people's personality comes out. So
Yeah.
I am totally drawn in by the style, the voices that are in there, the stories, the entertainment value.
Yeah.
I am hooked, which is so different than writing a piece of sales copy, a piece of persuasive copy, a landing page, an email for another client. It's very refreshing, and I can see how your list, if they're into you, it's easily hooked. And I don't think it matters. I mean, it's something you can test, but let's say Max, who really writes a lot, but I'm totally engaged when I write his emails. Don't censure yourself just because Ben Settle writes X amount and is pithy within 300 to 600 words. Maybe your audience will love these 1,000-word emails. Who knows? You give it a shot. Let it go. Because, as Dan Kennedy says, how long should a sales letter be? As long as it needs to be. Right?
You can
I
unmute
just
and
find,
jump in if you want, Max. Feel free.
Yeah, so I really I love this exercise just that I get to know people.
Yeah.
For that one thing alone, I'm going, man, this person's. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's got writing chops.
I know.
Everybody.
Yeah, we do.
It's so, it's.
That really
it's just-
that really stood out to me too, Dean. My first impression was, man, like everybody's colorful, and I'm really getting a lot out of it reminds me of the question authority exercise where, somebody can talk about their marketing or their product in kind of like broad terms, and then you read their personal details, and you're like, oh wow, like I get it now. I really understand who you are, where you're coming from. It feels personal. And that's the same effect I'm getting from the emails. It's like everybody's writing story, and you can see people's experience, Dean. Like when I read yours, I see the screenwriting. You're very visual, and you're using dialogue, and it flows, right? So you're seeing everybody's experience and the personalities popping off the page.
Absolutely. Actually, I would add to that. This is one tip that I give to people is because again, my audience are people that do something really well, but maybe they're too heady and they can't just like tell it out, especially from the heart. So the idea is, or the tip that I always say is, choose something you want to teach your audience, and then maybe record yourself speaking that lesson. And then the way that comes out conversationally becomes a better way to write it out, transcribe it directly sometimes, and immediately you can see the difference between what I was going to write versus how I would talk it.
Yeah, great point. Great point. Good stuff. Let's hear from April. We lost Melanie. I got to find Melanie back. But how you doing, April? Always good to see you.
I'm good.
There you are. Yeah. So how are you? How are you enjoying the 30 day? I know you've been Ben's World a little bit too. So is this something you already doing the 30-day challenge, or did you start fresh with us?
No, I was just reading Ben's stuff and applying it for all of my clients and their work. And so it wasn't until Ross PM'd me and was like, "Are you going to join this thing?" And I was like, he just called me out. So
He's good like that.
Yeah, so I didn't realize, kind of what everyone's saying, I didn't realize how much fun it was going to be. to write emails and to actually write in my own voice for once. It's been really great. And I have been, even though I'm not at all against long emails, I've said in the comments, like, Ramit's are long, Brian Kurtz's are long, I read all of them. But I have been trying to do around 400 just as a challenge to see what that would be like. And so one thing I do notice a lot is that with my personal stories, sometimes there are these details that I really want to tell people, but then I realize it's not exactly pertinent and not really moving the story along. So I'm cutting a lot of that to get it to 400 words, and the story and the message become a lot tighter that way.
Yeah.
So kind of having fun with that.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, and are you kind of just waking up and going, I need an email today, like sitting down at the keyboard and seeing what comes out, or how much, like, you know, sketching out are you doing first?
A little bit. I'm kind of just like things that are happening in my life. I'll just write it down and be like, oh, that could tie into this, and like kind of make a little note and then come back to it later and actually write out the email.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to hear from everybody on that, but that's been my biggest joy in this, I think, is that I'll sit down and think, all right, what do I have to write about? And it's like I'm, you know, just kind of watching it unfold almost in third person in a sense, right? And like, isn't that when writing is the best, you know? Like today's email, I knew I had to send out, we're doing a $1 trial through Sunday, testing a new cart, and I, you know, in my mind, I was like, I'm going to make it short because that's the best thing for a trial. But then I thought, yeah, but I really want to talk about Snapchat in this like love affair that happened yesterday with it. And so I wrote subject line, yesterday I took a mistress. I just went into this confession about, really wanted it to sound like a real, like, is this happening? Is he about to, you know? And of course the big hack thing, it was actually Snapchat. But you know, I thought it was this kind of fun and engaging way to just do it. And I was just like watching it happen as I'm typing, and like, I don't know, to me, like, that's when writing's the best. It's like sometimes you do need to put the effort and like plan ahead, but other times it just kind of unfolds. And then yeah, Max, you can unmute, buddy. And then yeah, it just kind of happens, and then were you saying you go back to them after that?
Wait, go back to wait.
I was looking at your or were you in a conversation? I was looking at the comments there.
Oh yeah, so what I was gonna say is I save everything. So I have a list of questions that people ask me, and I'm like, all right, that could be an email, that could be an email. Then I have a separate list of, oh, I was running down the street, I tripped. How can I turn this into a message about what I do? And the cool part is that because you know your topic, no one knows it better than you, and no one knows your audience better than you. What happens is you're able to. I wrote an email about Finding Nemo last week, and it was just a cute scene that I love. And I realized, wait a second, if people saw it like I did, they would enjoy it too. So let me just teach them what I'm seeing in it. And it was just how the fish introduce themselves to each other, and they kind of are like, hey, I'm obnoxious, I have this weird tentacle, and it's like, what if we could just be dirty, unpolished objects and talk about the things that are awful about our products, but spin it in a way where it's like, yeah, I'm going to charge you $1,000 for this book, but it's worth it because of X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
So it's use your expertise to deconstruct the world around you, and then unpack it, turn it into a beautiful story that people actually see the genius behind what you do.
Yeah, very cool. Good stuff. All right, let me try to. So sorry, tech stuff here, Melanie. I can't invite you because. Oh wait, maybe I can. Let me try again. Let's see how that works. See if we get Melanie back. I'd love to hear from Melanie on this because I know this is a new venture for her as well. Writing every day like this. So. Cool stuff, and just a lot of fun, and just, you know, man, the action. There's gonna be a lot of T-shirts going out at the end of this month. I got a feeling, and it's gonna be super cool to get in and hit up Ben with some questions and get more of his insights. So good stuff. All right, let's see if Melanie can get back on. Anybody else? Anything else to add on the emails? Dean, April, nobody? Okay, cool. Let's see if we get Melanie back on. Tanya wants her T-shirt. I know, they're coveted. I think one of the smartest things I ever did was not making those like publicly for sale, because now they're like a coveted prize. It's really cool. All right, there's Melanie's back. We can almost see you. I see black screen now. Everybody keeps freezing up. Look at Max frozen, his thumbs up pose. And there he is on again. Okay, it's weird. It keeps happening, like freezing people out, and then they come back. So you're back now, Max. But we can't get Melanie for some reason. All right, Mel. We'll keep trying. Yell if you get on. I'm going to, yeah, and I guess I'm going to try Ross too. If it still says, yeah, it doesn't work. So, Ross, if you pop in the comments one more time, I might be able to invite you if you want to try to come back. Otherwise, we're almost an hour in, so I like to keep these to an hour. So let's look at the bullets real quick. And this will be a little awkward, Max, because you were in the contest. I think you had some of the best bullets, certainly this week, and some that I've seen ever, but you did not win. So that's going to be a little awkward. What's that about? Oh, dude. And we'll just kind of go through. And you know what? You know why this is so hard, man? Is because I almost sometimes I can't justify exactly why, you know, and then, but you know, ultimately it'll just be like overall, can I cut and paste these into the show notes in the email and feel like nothing is missing, or you know?
I see what you mean.
Because that's how good they are, and that's what it comes down to for me. It used to just be, all right, would I only have to polish 3 or 4 of these, right? And now it's like so good, it's like I want to be able to cut and paste. Okay, so let's go into and look at it. Bullet the podcast. Let me share my screen. I want to look at your bullets, man. Here's what even better, you know, than winning. We're going to review yours, and let's get your thoughts about them. And
let me pull it up to where are we?
I'll bring them on the screen here. And everybody can yell at me if they think I'm wrong.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, I'm open. I'm open to that. This is I feel like the judges on American Idol, like when they're always like, "This is so hard," and you're like, "It is not," and it is. So I just want to acknowledge again, they're all great. Barry, you know, again, why would I not choose these? These are incredible bullets. They're so good. Same with Carolyn. Neary was in. Peter, just like every time, man, just kills it. He's already won. Carolyn, you know, I don't know if you guys know, it's not a secret. Carolyn and Peter are both writing bullets for me consistently now.
Cool. As
a result of being in this contest, and that's something I'd open up to other people as well. I think, you know, there is burnout. It's a bit of work. And so if somebody else, Max, if you were interested in getting in the mix there, you know, basically when there's 3 people, it's like 1 a month or 6 weeks or however it averages out, and you just listen. I assign you an episode, you listen to it, you send me the bullets, and I just, you know, in a Google Drive doc, and I give you some notes.
Oh, cool. That's
so
how that works.
Basically, I'm exchanging coaching for your work, right? And so, you know, based on your bullets here, man, I'd be happy to have you come in. It doesn't exclude you from winning these contests. You know, you can see that Carolyn and Barry are still entering. And so, yeah, if you're interested in that, hit me up and we'll get that going. So let's look at some of your bullets, man. I thought they were great. Why Marie says your business sucks and how to remedy it with old-timey snake oil cures. I just love that because that was one of my favorite moments where she talked about that whole old-timey vibe, right?
Yeah. It's something so original that, or maybe not original, but like you don't hear every day, so I had to turn it into a bullet.
Yeah.
It's a direct quote too, so it's perfect.
Right. Marie's childhood secret to prioritize what gets done in her business that most kids already know. Hint, no scheduling required, and you can see it in action on any playground. Really good bullet. That one for me took a little bit more thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, one other thing I look for is does this pretty much smack me across the face, because I mean, there's never a more distracted reader than with these kinds of bullets, right? They're literally just deciding, is this worth my time to hit play on this podcast? And so,
and I almost was gonna take that one out, but that was a personal choice. So I was like, I don't care what Kevin says. I just, because she literally, it's a 1 second moment where she says, if it ain't fun, it ain't getting done. And that's all she says. But I think that is a gem of a lesson, because I don't write an email if it's not fun to write.
Yeah, good point. Oh, great. So that's what you were foreshadowing there. Perfect. Yeah, good. Yeah, Marie's listed different ways to write, record, smashing copy, even if you're stiff as a mofo. I love getting that in there. Yeah, this was a great one. Man, so many times I just want to grab my favorites and mix them, but I think it's a lot more valuable to give it to one person. Why Marie skipped her audition to be Beyonce's backup dancer and decided to launch her own variety show instead. Man, it's just great. See, and I forgot her talking about that until I read that bullet.
Cool.
So yeah, these are just killer, dude. I read these and I really thought, that's it. I don't need to almost read further like this, you know. So who won? Well, I had to give it this time to my man, Stephen Carter. Stephen's been like on the cusp of winning this so many times, and it's not like I'm like factoring that in, even though maybe emotionally I can't not do that, but I really just thought like every one of the, even though this third one is a little long, you know, like it's pretty long for a bullet. I just thought overall he covered the things in the show that I really want people to latch on to, and if you read just the style and the voice he brought to it, I'm really impressed with that. This is one, polished to raw, what every female entrepreneur needs to know about glamming it up for the camera and how to respond to those who pour on haterade when the spotlight finally zeroes in on you. Man, that's a strong bullet. How to green screen your personality and make the world fall in love with you, even if you're a cowardly introvert who normally shuns the limelight. You know, just like really nice, lyrical, meaty bullets. And so, for that reason, right or wrong, Stephen's the winner this time. Max, everyone's a winner for trying, as you know. Really, really impressed with your bullets. And honestly, if you want to jump into the fray and become one of my regular contributors and get my notes whenever you do, I'd be super happy to do that with you. So let me know if that's interesting to you. Cool, man. So all right, we did get Melanie on, so I just would love to get Melanie's thoughts just on whatever the heck she wants to tell us, because it's always good. And I know I can predict. Here's how it's going to start. It's going to go like this. Can I tell you a story? So yes, you can tell me a story, and I'd love to hear it. So.
Well, okay, here's my story. I did not know that was a personality quirk until you told me that. So now I'm going back through my entire life, and I'm thinking how many conversations I must start that way, and how annoying that must be to people. And then if I want, I can just skip that and start in the middle of the story, because no, I'm not going to say anything else interesting. Like everybody else is like, these are my 3 talking points, and I'm like, hey, you know what my kid did today? So that's what I got.
I love it. Stories are great.
But for the longest time, I worried that maybe I wasn't professional enough or wasn't contributing enough in the right ways, because everybody else has this very regimented way that they do things, and they seem so professional, and I'm not like that. And as I was putting together this report, I decided, no, that's just not relevant anymore, because these are the things I think about, and these are the things that I think matter, and if people aren't interested in that, that's okay, I'm still interested, and so that's just going to have to be good enough. Besides, I don't think there were any other kids that won a $46,000 scholarship with a colored pencil on Monday. I just think that's kind of unlikely.
Yes, that is probably a unique scenario. That is so cool. And so what has been your response to the emails? I'm just trying to get to your thread over here.
No, I'm getting about 25% open rates, and half of those are clicking through on whatever thing I happen to suggest. And I'm getting love notes in the background.
Oh, that's great.
So that's
the
been
best.
fun.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, see the common theme here is like nobody's had a negative experience, right? Like nobody's
No.
had death threats or you know neighbors and friends telling them please stop. I did have a funny response yesterday. I should have cut and pasted, but the girl said because my subject line was you know I get it name, and then I said I get why you haven't joined Copy Chief yet, and it was a really short email. And then she just replied, "No, you don't get it."
Oh.
And I wrote, okay, so school me, you know. And then she wrote back, "Oh, I'm not doing this with a copywriter and humorist." She said, "You win, I'm out." And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know what just happened. Like I didn't learn anything. Like I really wanted to know why you aren't joining, other than why I said, you know. So. I think that people just really think there's no way you're reading this stuff, and so they just like say what's on their mind, and then you email back, and they're like, "Oh." So
I'm resistant to that phrase. I get it. I'm also resistant to the phrase "I know you" and then whatever, because
yeah,
I think I'm special, and no, you don't know, and no, you don't get me, and I don't know. I know better. I'm slightly more humble than that, but I do think that I delete emails where people say I get whatever. Mick, you don't know me. I'm special. That's how it is.
That's a good point. Yeah,
I'm not that special. I'm medium special, but whatever.
Maybe that's what she was saying, though. Maybe she was like, "How dare you say you get it? I'm so complex, you could never get me."
Right? The things I think about are critical, mind-blowing. Yeah, not really.
So here's your thread, Melanie. What's been your favorite of the 5 this week that you wrote?
Well, all right, so I'm equally obsessed with my kids and then things that I create. And so I think it's been really fun to email about my report because I just didn't know that was going to happen. But telling anecdotes about my kids has got to be my favorite because then I get to write the dialogue, and I'm not editing that stuff. That's stuff that happens in my house, and I find that to be funny. So, like the thing about the octopus, that is a thing that happened. That's just a good time.
That's great. And look how everybody's using, there's so much nice white space. Wow, this is a nice short one. My son plopped down at dinner table. "Mom, guess what? I saw something online last night, and it made me click. And you know how I feel about those cheesy headlines, but this one was so good I just had to click. Is it okay if I say it in front of the littles?"
That's what we call this. We have 2 age groups. We have bigs and we have littles. And so, yeah.
It's kind of, you know, we finish dinner, the kids leave the room, and he lets it rip. This is the headline that made my jaded, raised on the internet, 17-year-old son click on a link to watch a local news story. Public octopus sex event canceled over cannibalism fears. Yes, that's the thing that happened in my house last night, and yes, it's a real news story. What does this have to do with emotional copywriting? Everything. As my friend Danielle likes to say, it's all in the feels. Very nice. But once I get past the shock, I'd say the most important truth is sometimes you can't improve on truth. Just say it straight and move on. Wow. Nice job. I mean, man, that's just, you know, tons of color. I take away the story. I feel like I was at your dinner table with you, and we're out, man. Really nice.
Thank you.
Really good. You know, April, maybe you said it. I think I'm gonna give myself the same challenge this week, is just to try to hit that 300 to 400 word mark, or at least keep it under 5. I've been like between 7 and 9, and or it'll be like, you know, 150 words, you know, or 100 words, and it's like, I don't know if that is a good pattern interrupt, or if I'm even, you know, consistent enough to create a pattern, but I do admire, and I've seen a lot of people really stick into that that length, and I do feel like it's kind of optimal. Because let's face it, we all have a lot to read. And April, you mentioned, you know, you read Ramit, and I always read Brian because it always comes out once a week, and I just, you know, it's going to be good. Ramit, I'll have to admit, there's just times when I want to read it, and it's so long that I just go, man, I just can't. I don't have it. I don't have it to give, you know. And but when I look at Ben Settles, I just know consistently it's going to be digestible. It's literally like a minute of my time, you know, a couple minutes, and you know, there's something to that. So
that's become really important to me because maybe I'm pre-trained because I have so many teenagers. But this
Mhm.
idea that it has to come off the screen and then directly to brain so that they're not even really aware that they read it.
Mhm.
And if I'm not saying it that tight, then I need to try again.
Yeah, good point. Even you announcing your report is so this is live. Everybody can go get this now.
Yes, they can.
Whoa! Everybody needs to run to this link right here. I just planned your weekend for everybody on this hangout. I just planned your weekend. Boy, this is good stuff. There's the link. Oh, it's just your homepage, yeah. Melanie.
Yeah.
And I know you did it interesting. I wanted to ask you about this. You're giving away 2 other reports as bonuses when they download this report on the actual delivery page, right?
Right.
So you're not mentioning them in the call to action.
No.
Just giving them. Interesting. What made you do that?
Well, I have 2 things. One, Tech and I are only medium quality friends. And so taking those
Didn't know how to
downloads
take them off.
would be a hassle, yes. And the other thing is that one of them is the voice report, which there has been some talk about, and I feel like I do have some things to say about
Mhm.
that. And so I like that that's there. And the other one is an audio training I did. Get to hear the sound of my voice and the way I tell a story, and there's a downloadable PDF that goes with it.
Mhm.
And so I like those things, and I think that they complement the other work.
Yeah.
I don't know that additional trouble to also sell those on the landing page.
You don't know how, or you don't want to go.
Or I don't know if I want to,
Right.
because it would be a lot of additional copy.
Right.
And I did get people behind the curtains coming back and saying, hey, I listened to your audio that was the surprise bonus, and that's why you're getting this gig. Or I read the voice report, and I did the exercise you suggested, and can we get on the phone and talk about it? Or so I don't know if it helps or hurts that I don't mention it, but people are so delighted that they discover that thing there that they're listening and reading.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, I don't think there's any harm in it. I mean, some people would say, because like you said, they're totally complementary to what you're offering, right? So it's just, if it was something from another part of your life or business that seemed to, have no possible value towards this, obviously, that would instinctively not be included. But I think they work perfectly together. So well done. All right, guys, we're at an hour. This has been great. What can I say? This is the Love Fest, and really appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for being in the challenge. Max, thanks again for your bullets. I hope we can carry on. Ross, we missed you, honey. You were here for a minute, and it feels like a little cold in here without you, but I'll be talking to you next week. Everybody have a great weekend, and let's keep jamming on the emails. Who's going for every day as opposed to 5 days? You guys going for every day? Yeah. All right. Cool. I'm gonna try to keep it up too.
I'm a Monday to Friday. I got to rest on weekends.
I know. I'm
I
kind of
got
like
belly dancing on Saturday. I got priorities.
I kind of want to pull the kid card too. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But good, man. Either way, I'll see you guys back in Monday. And thanks, man. See you there. Bye.
Bye.